Hello, aloha. This is Claire Maxwell again. I'm a teacher of the Alexander Technique, and I'm making these videos to include in my newsletters so that people can get an idea of some of the things that I work with my students on. So last month we were talking about helping you regain your mobility and strengthen your legs through squatting. And this month we're going to talk about sitting. And I'm going to read you a quote from the papers lately. This is on the Huffington Post. Sitting is more dangerous than smoking, kills more people than HIV, and is more treacherous than parachuting. We are sitting ourselves to death. Well, I don't know about you, but I still want to be able to sit without freaking out. And I don't think that sitting has to be that bad. So, in our work, we talk about how you think about a movement, how you conceive of a movement, has a profound effect on how you do it. So, I'm going to suggest that we think about sitting as if it was squatting, which is a very active motion. So, last month I had some requests. People wanted me to show how you can work on a squat if you have a really short Achilles tendon. So I'm just going to show you that briefly. I've got a couple of nice art books here, and I'm just going to step up on them so that the front of my foot is spread out. All of my toes are on the floor, but my heel is also touching something. And last week we used a doorknob for squatting. I'm just going to show you a different way that you can use a chair to counterbalance your weight and get a nice stretch out of it. So I'll just do it a couple of times so that you can see how I'm working with the movements. So I'm using the chair, I'm sending the weight of the chair forward, and I'm almost thinking about as if I was going to jump up and over the chair, and then I'm just using its weight to counterbalance my pelvis so you can have a little bit of fun here. And you don't want to let your arms get disconnected, so you can let them be bent a little bit. I'm very flexible. You might neck it down this far, that's okay. And then I'm just going to send the chair forward and my elbows down to come up. And you can also just come right up out of your hips like that. So that's squatting, just to review squatting. And it's amazing how good and light and active sitting can feel if you think of it like squatting. So just for practicing purposes, I like to have the chair right under me. So if I'm like this, I'm going to have to go too far back into the chair, and I just want to be able to go as straight down as possible. So just for practicing anyway. And you know, sitting is something we do automatically all the time. So I'm going to think of three things before I sit. The first thing I'm going to think about, again, is the ease in my spine, the flow and ease in my spine. I'm going to think about the balance of my head. And I'm thinking about the floor underneath me supporting. So that when I go to sit, it's more as if I'm getting ready to jump. So it's like a squat. Which is so different, because I'll just show you how most of us sit. If we don't think about it too much, this is how we do it. We go like this, right? So there's a lot of collapse into the organs. There's a real sort of downward squish here. So that's what we're doing away with the idea of falling back into the chair. So instead of that, you're thinking about coming up and out to squat. Your heels might come up a little bit, or they might not. So just try it. See how it works for you to think about sitting differently. And one more thing I can say is that when you come up out of your chair, my habitual way of doing it is to seize up like that. You can feel it in your legs and your back. They kind of pull in a little bit. But if you think about the movement of squatting to go up, it has a kind of a spring in it. And the bottom of it is a opening and a yielding. So if you think of it that way, it's sort of like a softening and a yielding into the floor to come up. So that's it. And I welcome your feedback. If you have any questions, you can go to my website, which is ClaireMaxwell.com, spelled C-L-A-R-E, Maxwell.com. And I work in New York City, so give me a call if you'd like to come by the studio and have a free consultation. All right, peace and love. Aloha.